It's Hard Conversations, and it's here again. Last lap, the bumper breakfast. And today, it's a difficult one, but it must be discussed. Sex before marriage. Advisable, otherwise. Yes or no? Send your answers to us on 08093962299. Or you tweet at us at I am Tomisi _ or at I am at Bumper Breakfast. It's just there. It will be put right there on the screen. The number again. Don't call the number. Just send a text message or a WhatsApp message. It's 08093962299. Which side do you belong? The yes or the no?
You know, I posted this on social media last night, 2 a.m., and I said, deleting soon. Tell me your stand, your opinion, and tell me why. Don't just say yes. Tell me why. Or say no, tell me why. You know, and I got lots of traffic. But I want to start by saying something very interesting this morning. Tommy, one of the reasons you ask a lady out is because you are attracted to her. True or false?
I believe so, yeah.
No, not you believe so. You can't ask.
True.
You can't ask somebody out without being attracted to the person.
True, yeah, true.
So one of the reasons you ask somebody out is because you are physically attracted to the person.
Oh, now physical attraction.
Yes.
Okay.
True or false?
True.
Now, you need to understand this. When you enter into a relationship, you are vulnerable by default.
Yes.
Because you are attracted to the person.
Yes.
So if you don't create erotic disciplines, or if you don't create sexual disciplines with your erotic adventures, a whole lot will happen. Because you're vulnerable.
Is that not why they now say don't go into a relationship if you're not ready for marriage?
Good one there. Good one there. And that's why, because of what we're talking about, my answer is sex before marriage is a no. It's not advisable. But I'll give you 7 dangers or 7 facts why it's not advisable. I'll just buttress it with those 7 facts. Now, let me tell you a story. A young man met, this very, very interesting story. A young man met a lady he wanted to marry, had sex with her before the marriage. She was a virgin. He was the first. So to him, he's the first, he's the only guy. And then he married her. Unknown to him that prior to the time he married her, between the time he met her, had sex with her, and married her, she also had sex with another guy before they got married, before she got married to him. Are you with me? Now, after getting married, 8 years down the line, the man finds out that she had sex with his best friend.
And he's saying how?
Few weeks after he disvirgined her. Because
she didn't know it was his best friend.
She knew. That sex opened her up. She became wild. She wanted to try it more. And she gave it to the next person who came to trouble her. Now, that's not even where I'm going to. Where I'm going to is, after a period of time, the man became very angry because he found that revelation out. He started going out to bring women to come sleep with them on his matrimonial bed in the presence of his wife. Short and long of the story is, the man contracted HIV, gave it to his wife, and they are both dead today.
Wow. That's a really sad story.
Really sad story, but very interesting in the development. Now, what am I trying to say in a nutshell? One of the dangers of sex before marriage is diseases, vulnerable diseases, sexually transmitted diseases. Are you getting me? If you're not, you see, when you want to marry somebody, you take them to the hospital, you do the DNA, you do the genotype test, the blood group, the compatibility test, HIV, you know. You can't be doing compatibility tests and all those tests for every girl you meet. So that's why you need to be careful.
Better just do it for the one that you want to marry.
And then focus on that. Else you may become vulnerable. Number 2 thing I really need us to look into, which is very big, is lack of trust. Sex before marriage deadens trust. Do you know what I say to me? If you cheat with me, you will cheat on me.
How?
Think about it. If you did you see the secrets we dealt with on Sacred Diary? She said, the lies he taught me when we were dating to tell my parents are the lies I'm telling him today to cheat on him in the marriage. We took that on Secret Diary on Instagram. Now, what does that say to you? You may think you're having fun by cheating with this person, but this person will also do the same thing to you if you're not careful. That's why we need to consciously talk about it. Yes, it's wrong. Yes, it's difficult to stand by, but we just have to put positive things out there. We need to say the truth. And you see, whether you like it or not, the truth is the truth.
True. Doesn't have any other coloration.
The truth is the truth. So if you want trust to be built, you want suspicion to die, then you need to stay put. Now, let me give you an instance. Take, for example, you had a flat tire on your way back from work, and it took you almost 2 hours to get a jack to change it. And then you finally get home at 11 o'clock, and you've been doing this girl before you married her. She assumes in her head you're already cheating. How can you come home at 12? Where were you? And the man is, where were me? Were me not on the road? And the lady is, where were you? You've left the office. I know your friend has been at home. Where were you? And it's like, were me not on the road? Were me not in traffic? Were me not here? Where? You know? And then you start wearing the wearing problems without knowing. Trust is deadened. And when trust crashes in a relationship, it's very difficult to get it back. And one of the reasons why people are scared, you're scared, you love the person. There's something I want to say here, Tommy. You see, when you have sex with somebody, there is a hormone released called oxytocin. Now, that hormone is what makes a woman to love a man so much, and it makes the man to become overprotective of a woman. When that hormone is released, it becomes very difficult for you to leave the person.
Even if it is with a multiple partner?
Is
that hormone still released?
Let me tell you something, Thomas.
I mean, just medically, does that hormone get released every time you have sex with someone?
When there is an intimacy, when there is passion involved, it gets released.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, it creates a soul tie. So imagine you have a soul tie with this person and you did not marry the person. You see why Okafor's law happens? So she's married, but she travels to Ibadan to go and collect Masapi. You know what I'm talking about? So she's in the marriage, but she travels far.
There's a disconnect.
There's a disconnect because there's a soul tie. Now, if it's...
Why is it not the guy that is traveling? Why did you say she travels?
Okay, both ways. It happens both ways. I know you are gender sensitive.
Well, I hope you would use he next time.
Let me use a he and illustrate something. You see, take a paper tape and tape it on every part of this table over time. The more times or the multiple times you tape it round, you discover the more you tape and pull, it starts losing, and then it starts losing potency in attracting the table. A time will come, it won't even stick anymore. You know why? Because it has been
used again and again and again.
That's what happens to the man. So if you keep multiple sex partners, one of the dangers of multiple sex before marriage is you no longer fancy that connection. You don't stay. So breakup is 79% because you are you have created foreign standards. Now, you have been with Karashika.
The pick and drop syndrome just becomes a part of your life.
Now, yes. Now check this out. You've been with Amaka, Nkiru, Chidera, Neka. Now you've had a go on all of them. Now Amaka is very good from behind. Chidera is a missionary. Nkiru is a dogger. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about. It's a breakfast show.
Oh God. Okay. So at the end of the day, you have gotten different perfections from these people, and then you want all those things from that one person you finally married. You have problem.
So basically, testing it creates a false standard.
Exactly.
And after creating the false standard, it makes it really difficult for people to stick to their partners.
Very true. It creates a false standard. You start comparing.
Who is it more dangerous for? The men or the women?
The women, of course. The women, of course. Because of the next point number 5, unwanted pregnancy. Men don't get pregnant. If a doctor will test me for pregnancy, it's either the doctor has a mental problem or he has a mental problem. It's impossible. The factors that will comprise of me getting pregnant, I don't have. The components, the womb, I don't have it. In the same vein, you need to understand that the woman is losing more because, you see, her value reduces even before the guy. You know, there's a saying that goes like this: what we gain easily, we esteem too lightly. Okay? If you gain it too easily, you may esteem it too lightly. So you have to be careful, apply caution. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I've seen people who have had it before marriage and then they get married and the love goes stronger because they were meant to be. Okay? But I've also seen people who, yes, they are meant to be, but every slight move, madam is checking.
You know, I keep wondering why women find it really easy to do that check thing.
Check the phone, check, is this sex? Is this one?
Are you
Especially
serious?
when the Mr. D is really good at the beginning.
Are you saying the intimacy that they've had before marriage, or the sexual intimacy they had before marriage?
It's one of the factors that leads to suspicion in the marriage. So if...
Why is it that it is the women that do this suspicion thing?
See, let me tell you something. In this generation, women even cheat more than men. It's just not pronounced, but it's the truth. Now let me tell you something. The Bible says sex before marriage is a sin. Okay? But understand this. The woman knows it's a sin. The man knows it's a sin. That's why I'm not starting with that
The religious part.
with the religious part. But you need to get this and understand this very well. There is a mentality. He did this thing with me when we're not married. Now he has gone out. He has been away for 2 weeks in Abuja alone. You will search his bag when he comes back. And then don't forget, there are things that will make the woman start thinking in that light. You're putting a password on your phone. You want to receive a call. You're running outside. Emeka, I can't hear you. I can't hear. And then you're going outside. She becomes suspicious. And don't forget, a seed has been sown. And you know there are different types of seeds. Annual seeds, biennial, and perennial. Perennial seeds are seeds that grows 3 or more years. So the seed you planted 3 years ago may not grow immediately, but it will grow eventually. That's why we need to be careful. So mutual suspicion, the soul tie, sexually transmitted diseases, unwanted pregnancy, setting foreign standards and comparing your partner. Another thing premarital sex does is it masks problems. It masks problems.
It helps you. I think it's masking the problem should just basically interpret as it stops you from looking deeply at issues.
Yeah, that's true. That's the word.
Every time there is an issue, you just resolve it
with that
intimacy.
And then at the end of
let's not call it intimacy, with intercourse.
Yeah. And then a wise guy said something. He said at some point he discovered that every time she comes, that's all you do, no conversation. So he told her, let's stop till we get married. He said the relationship never crossed 3 weeks.
After that,
because clearly stating that's what she wanted.
No, it's not just that's what she wanted. I think clearly stating the fact that somehow in the midst of it all, people run away from conversations, and that's the real reason why they don't like to have it. A lot of people find it really difficult to have conversations because it's just not part of their DNA to talk about issues. People like to pretend issues don't exist.
Not everybody. Some want to talk.
No, I'm saying people.
Yeah. But there are times you find a partner who wants to talk and you find the other one who is not giving to communication.
The moment you begin to give or cover up your basic issues with intercourse, you're likely to find out that that's all you do, even in a marriage. It becomes a routine.
But a wise couple,
it's food and intercourse.
A wise couple will create time to talk.
But when you create those two, when you put those two as the basic, you're going to definitely put yourself in trouble. Do you get it? When you make it all about those two, you're going to find yourself in trouble. Because couples who actually have those two as paramount are not friends.
Friends will always talk. You know, I was listening to my prof.
Friends
sometime.
have conversations. It's just natural with friends.
True. They want to talk about everything. They
want
gossip.
to
They are
gossip.
best friends.
They actually gossip. You are in trouble. You don't want to be around them because they gossip about you.
My professor used to say something. Show me the most beautiful girl, and I'll tell you a guy who is tired of her. You get to a point where you understand that if you're not careful with the relationship with the opposite sex, you don't discipline it, you just discover that at the end of the day, you're not really solving problems. You're just exchanging body counts. And if it wasn't meant to be, if it becomes, it may not last.
It would. The idea is, if it does last, people will be the most miserable, and if it lasts, that's if it does last. And if it doesn't last, you just dodge the bullets.
And then finally, the last thing I want to talk about is, you see, in case of breakup,
Just as we need to go.
yes, in case of breakup, it becomes very, very hard and painful to move on because you've been interwoven, and then we're not getting married, and there's a breakup. It's gonna rip your heart apart. You don't want to let go easily.
I think that's even why couples who had so much intercourse as the basic issues between the two of them, or the basic tie between the two of them, when they break up, they go back to it.
Yes.
So you see, they've broken up, but they keep sleeping with each other.
Do you remember the couple that they broke up, they divorced, they went back, and then they married again?
Yeah.
It
So
happens.
basically, it's a really difficult one, but I think so many things need to be said. All right, as we round off this morning, I really want to take these messages. Keep the messages coming. Keep the messages coming. We'll do a part 2 to this conversation because I don't would dare say, if this is not advisable, if sex before marriage is not advisable, is it then possible for you to stay away from having intercourse with your male friend?
Tomisi,
What?
there are advantages to it too.